And there we are. Okay. So it looks like we're going to Devinter in the next Dragon Age game. Potter, recently I commented on a new Dragon Age game. Was it this session, maybe, at some point? I don't know. It's been a long session for me. This DLC has felt like a cross between Citadel, in the fact, Citadel from Mass Effect 3, where kind of goodbye to everyone, you're wrapping little stories up with people, but it's got its own little plot. It's kind of felt like that, but it's also felt like, from Mass Effect 2, The Arrival, where it's kind of setting up the next plot, and I'm not entirely sure how well that worked. I know what the plot's going to be about. It's going to be about dealing with Solus. But, so, we're going to still be part of the Inquisition. So why aren't we, like, the Inquisitor? Are we going to be hanging out with the same companions? Well, I guess not, because everyone's gone off in their own different ways. So why is it the Inquisition doing it? Why, from a narrative perspective, is the Inquisition involved? If we're going to be going off and doing our own thing. I mean, if we're going to be into Vinter, assumably Dorian's going to get involved. But, like, Varric can't really be involved in the next game. Dorian probably can't be a companion in the next game. Iron Bull is not around. The kind of 3 advisors probably aren't going to be around. Cassandra's possibly busy. So Cassandra most likely isn't going to be, just in case people had her as the Divine. There's loads of... who else have we got? Cole's off on it doing his stuff, although maybe he and Meriden get caught up in things. Yeah, so there's all kinds of... I'm not sure what the point of having this was. So was it Cole? Sarah, maybe? But she's hanging around with the Inquisitor. Potentially. That's what's happened with us. Varric, he's the Viscount. Cassandra's busy. Possibly as Divine. Or high up in the Inquisition, if you keep it.
What is this? A new book? All this shit is weird. Oh, Varric, that is a terrible title. What are you even thinking?
Hi, Cassandra. Blackwall's off doing his own thing. Iron Bull's doing his own thing.
The sky churned like a rolling sea on a dark and stormy night, centered on a gaping hole that led to the arse end of nowhere. A hole that spit up many things that day. Comets, demons, and a whole lot of trouble. It's about the Inquisition.
Yes. Figured that bit out when you're talking about holding the sky. And out of our mages, Dorian probably can't be a companion if he's in the Magisterium.
The tavern cut the silence like it owed the Carter money. In the middle, in her element, Red Jenny. She looked me up and down, mostly down. Not playing, weirdy, she said, gesturing with and dismissively eating a sandwich. Don't write that. Seriously, piss up a row. Sarah made the subtext text, which suited me fine.
Other mages. Vivienne, she's now the Grand Enchanter. She's like in charge of everything. The circle. Speaking of Vivienne.
Beautiful poison spreading in a wine glass. She sized me up with a glance. I'm so glad you made it, my dear, she said. I am Madame the Fair, the most terrifying person you shall ever meet.
And it's actually her doing Cassandra's voice, imitating these people. Brilliant. And then the Solus is going to be the bad guy.
Alphonse in an embrace as warm as a serpent's kiss. I always knew I could count on your support. The Count did not feel the bite of her poisoned dart until it was too late. Even if it requires your death.
So, like, none of the companions from this game can really appear in the next one. I don't know if anyone else, like anyone from previous games, is going to turn up.
Drops of rain glistened on the griffin medallion grasped tightly in Blackwall's hand. The silverite wings of valor, they mean nothing. He flung the medal to the cold and uncaring ground. You don't know what I've done. You don't know me. So romantic.
But, I mean, link back to 2 in Tevinter, there's not many people around there.
Cole moved like a shadow that also moved like a knife. A shadow wearing a hat where dreams came to die. It's a riddle, he whispered. A cold riddle that gnaws at your mind, but you'll feel better when it's gone. That makes as much sense as anything Cole says.
I mean, Wynn went to Tevinter with Shale in some endings for Origins. That's like, do you leave that?
Place your herald above the law, ambassador. Whose law, my lady? Josephine's eyes glittered like angry opals. The law destroyed by rebellion, by civil war, by poor fiscal management. We are the law.
I wonder what Cassandra's going to say in this. But yeah, I mean, I can't see any kind of... I'm not really sure about any of the other characters, especially with, like, people who can just die or can be killed off.
We left our mark on Adamant, but the dust hadn't settled, and neither had Harding. I can offer you a drink, if I catch your meaning. If you'd caught my meaning, you'd have offered a double. What is even happening here?
So, I mean, it's like I'm not sure why you've brought the Inquisition into the story.
Was a great slab of muscle with horns that could hang a tapestry. One eye scanned for threats, while the other hid behind an eye patch like a chantry sister's old sins. Come on, he barked, not looking back as he entered. The dancer with the great rack comes on in 5. That is spot on, actually.
I mean, so I'm not entirely sure what the point of building up to the next story is, when actually, if you think about it, the characters can't be there.
Of a Templar who had seen the worst of humanity, yet still had the time to style his hair. This isn't just a war, he said, his gaze steely like a dull blade. It's the only war. Cullen! That's Cullen!
The frustrating thing is I'm trying to actually fit in bits of dialogue, like bits of my kind of view on the game, which is kind of on the DLC at this point. Other than there's just too much stuff in the base game.
Mage wore a class of handsome sneer cultivated by 1,000 years of Tevinter elitism. The name's Dorian, he glared. Dorian. Spell it right, you marble-headed lump, or it's toad time. A toad? That's hardly credible.
So I'm kind of like, yeah, trying to fit things in. But I think the base game, there was too much stuff, side stuff in.
Old elf spun, mage staff crackling like the city after a good man's murder. You're crazy, the Red Templar cried in terror. Moonlight glinted off ears like the knives you never see coming. Better to fade out than burn away. Ugh, Varric.
So, like, looking at it, the base game is my longest individual Let's Play.
Wait,
And it felt it.
where am I? I don't...
Oh, I want to hear this.
Here it is. The Seeker clutched at my vest, her tears as desperate as they were pitiful.
Hello.
Varric, I was wrong about everything, she sobbed. Could you find it in your noble heart to forgive me? That dwarf. He put me in the book. I'm in the book. I am reading the shit out of this.
To all of you who played Dragon Age Inquisition, who laughed, cried, and reached out on social media, who made fan art and comics and cosplay and jokes, thank you. Dragon Age Inquisition was a labour of love. Without you, it would never have been possible. No, without EA, it wouldn't. Never mind. Your support and your passion and your wallets touched us deeply. We hope that, in some way, this game touched you as well. Bear your blade and raise it high. The Dragon Age team. Oh. So, as I was saying... the base game is my longest individual Let's Play. So that's just the base game. That's not including DLC. Just the base game. It's longer than Origins, and yet I've played Gehiras Kuslan for longer because I've played him in. I played him in Origins. I played him in Awakening. I played him in Golems of Amgarak, which was one video of my highlights of trying to get through that DLC. It's evil, and Witch Hunt. And I also kind of counted Origins as their own separate thing, and did each one. And yet, I felt like this was much longer, just because, especially at the end, there was just so much side stuff, and a lot of it is completely irrelevant. And I think, in a way, I've kind of been really kind of revitalized in my joy for the game in kind of the last few sessions, which is always a great thing to end up on a yay, woo, fun game, because of the DLC. And the DLC have all been more focused, more structured, without all this side stuff that is kind of important in that you kind of need to do it, like the shards, but is also so it's kind of important, but it doesn't add anything to the main story. It doesn't add anything to the game. And yet then we get to this stuff, which has been focused and exciting, and it's been a kind of a joy to come back to kind of play the DLC at the end, actually, and kind of have a better experience than the end of the base game. So the DLC's been really good. If you have this, if you're planning on playing it, then do play the DLC at the end, because it for me, it made the game much better. That's my view. I think, and kind of like I said, like that ending with Cassandra is kind of feels like something that you could have in the Citadel from Mass Effect 3, where it's talking about the characters, it's more interacting with the characters, which I think is the strength of this game. And most of Bioware stuff is the interacting with characters. And I think in the end, towards the end of Inquisition, you don't have any more interaction with characters. You don't interact with characters between DLC. So after you've done DLC, there aren't new bits of dialogue or new cutscenes about people talking about things, like Varric talking about the Deep Roads a little bit, his experience of it could have been in there. I'm trying to think about other things people could have said that they didn't do, and I think that was kind of a missed opportunity in some parts. I still think I was thinking about this because Varric commented that he saw how long this was. He wasn't looking for. He was planning on not actually doing it. And I still think Origins is my favourite of these three, because of the characters and because the areas are all more focused. Yes, there's side quests, but all the areas are fairly focused in what you're doing, which is something I think this lacked. And I think that's downside with it deciding to become open world. So yes. And as I said, when I put Witcher 3 on hiatus, that would start once I was completely finished with Inquisition. So, next time, we return to Geralt of Rivia for The Witcher 3. Thanks for watching, everyone. Thanks for watching.